In this video, I will be talking about various parts of story mode, so spoiler alert! I will also be doing a different style of review, so please tell me in the comments, which style do you like best? My usual style, where I explain the whole story, or the style I will be doing in this video. In Battlefield Hardline, you play as Nick Mendoza. His story consists of corruption, betrayal, and revenge. As you go through his story, Nick starts to change. He bands together a group of like-minded individuals to take down the crime boss that wronged him. The game itself is pretty standard for first-person shooters games, but the thing is that set this game apart slightly from other first-person shooters is that you can arrest people and use non-deadly force, as well as scanning evidence to get experience points to unlock other guns. You can also scan hostiles to mark them after they are marked. You can see them anywhere on the map, and changing your gear when you reach the weapons box. I really like the game's story. It took a lot of twists and turns that I did not expect. In some situations, you can come up with a plan to get past it. For example, in the last level, there is this penthouse, and there's like a bunch of dudes in it. Well, you can actually sneak past them by climbing to the top of the house using a grappling hook, and jump to the building the crime boss is in. I think that is neat. I also like the option to get more experience points by using non-deadly force. I have to admit, it gets tedious after a while. The game acts a bit wonky at times. Like, for example, in the mission Independence Day, there's a safe-cracking robot called the Brute, and you use the Brute to open the safe. Now, the game kind of broke, and the next scene didn't happen. You know, the scene where the guy is walking down the stairs into the hallway? Yeah, that didn't happen. The game broke, and I had to restart from the last checkpoint. I was also disappointed in the ending, because it leaves you on a cliffhanger and it does not give you closure on the characters. Upon going to the Battlefield Hardline wiki, I found out that Nick's story basically ends on what the player thinks, like, you know, the player's headcanon. So you know what? Here's my headcanon. Nick Mendoza, after defeating the crime boss that wronged him, he uses his funds to build a vigilante syndicate, along with his friends being his second-hand men, you know, his commanders. Well, Nick sitting right in the middle as the syndicate boss. Not a hero, not a villain, where he goes after people who deserves to be 6 feet under. There's my headcanon. Now, it's time I rate the various aspects of the game. Graphics, 7. The graphics are pretty good. The anatomy of the people, the buildings, and the vehicles are all pretty great, but I feel like it's missing something. Music, 6. The music here is good, but it's not great. I definitely heard better music from other first-person shooter games. I felt that some tracks are bland and some tracks are good. Cinematics, 8. The scenes here are pretty hype, and some are filled with emotion. Some of my favorite scenes are the zipline scene from Independence Day, and when Nick confronted the crime lord. Story, 7. I absolutely adored the story. It's very interesting to me, and the character development of Nick. Content, 6. There isn't much to the story mode, other than the story. But the cool part here is why I give it an extra point, is that you can get guns and attachments once you get enough experience points. Controls, 5. Decided to get an average score here, because the controls in this game are fine. It's not tedious and it's not amazing. It functions like a first-person shooter should. Gameplay, 7. The fact that there are different ways to take down an enemy, and different ways you can get past some parts in the game, instead of just taking out all hostiles, it's the reason why I gave it this score. The story mode will take you on an adventure that is full of twists and turns, and you will be absorbed in the story as you experience Nick's trials and his development as a character. Though, the ending is a bit disappointing, like I said before. The journey there is great, The game itself only separates from other first-person shooters ever so slightly by the mechanics I described before. The story itself is pretty fun to experience, and I enjoyed every moment of it. I rate Battlefield Hardline Story Mode a 7 out of 10. Hey, did you enjoy Battlefield Hardline Story Mode? What did you like or dislike? Type down in the comments. Also, if you're interested, I will put a link in the description to Angry Joe's review of the entire game, where he describes the glaring faults in the game. My review is based on my personal experience. Well, that was my review on Battlefield Hardline Story Mode. This is UltimateRedFire, signing out, and I will see you in the next one.